The Unseen Visitor, Hook and Suspense. The Galactic Council, a vast assembly of the most powerful species in the galaxy, sat in their grand chamber. They controlled the flow of life across countless worlds, maintaining order, peace, and balance in the cosmos. The council was a place of quiet power, where every decision mattered, and every species respected the ancient laws of the universe. On this particular day, the council gathered to discuss a new matter, one that had been brought to them by the Monitoring Division. A strange anomaly had been detected on a distant, uncharted planet. At first, the report seemed insignificant. It was just another small planet, far from the center of the galaxy, without any real importance. But as they looked deeper, something caught their attention. The signals coming from this planet were unlike anything they had ever encountered before. A low hum filled the air in the chamber as the council members began to murmur. Their sophisticated sensors had detected a strange energy pattern from the planet. It was not strong, no more than a whisper of a signal, but it was unlike anything they had ever seen. For centuries, the Galactic Council had monitored every world in the galaxy, and they had never seen anything like this before. "What is this?" One of the council leaders, a towering figure from the Zorathian species, spoke up. His voice echoed across the room, his tone heavy with curiosity. "This planet, Earth, should not be capable of emitting such energy." Another council member, a sleek, insectoid being from the Nexori, clicked her mandibles in confusion. "It's so primitive. This planet should be insignificant. Why are they suddenly sending out this signal? How did they even manage to reach us?" The council's best minds, who had studied the galaxy for eons, were left scratching their heads. They had no answers. A small unknown planet like Earth had no reason to send a signal. And yet there it was. Something had shifted. "I suggest we send a fleet," said the leader of the Lorian race, a being with an ethereal glowing form. "We must learn more about this planet and its inhabitants." There was hesitation in the room. Earth was nothing more than a speck on the map. But the signal, it had the power to draw the council's attention. Something about it was different. After much discussion, the council agreed. A fleet would be dispatched, not to conquer, but to investigate. Their ships, made from advanced materials and powered by the most sophisticated technology in the galaxy, would journey to Earth to uncover the truth behind this mysterious signal. As the fleet made its way toward the small blue planet, the council members continued to debate amongst themselves. But one question echoed in their minds: what had Earth done to draw their attention? And what secrets were hidden within its boundaries? The fleet, consisting of several ships from different species, arrived in orbit around Earth. The alien vessels were massive, each one capable of decimating entire planets with a single strike. But as they looked down at Earth, they were met with a sight they did not expect. The planet seemed ordinary at first glance. It was covered in water and land, with sprawling cities and large swathes of green forests. The technology on Earth seemed primitive, no different from what the Council had seen on countless other planets. No advanced space stations, no signs of a powerful galactic empire. Just a simple blue world floating in the vastness of space. "What are we missing?" one of the fleet commanders said. His voice was calm, but a trace of uncertainty flickered in his tone. "There is nothing special about this planet. How could it have sent that signal?" The fleet commander ordered his ships to begin scanning the surface of Earth. The sensors probed deep into the planet's core, trying to uncover anything that could explain the anomaly. But again, nothing extraordinary appeared. The technology was basic, the civilizations still in their infancy compared to the rest of the galaxy. Then, the unexpected happened. The fleet commander's ship was rocked by a sudden shockwave. A small group of human-made ships shot into the sky from Earth, firing primitive laser weapons at the alien vessels. It was a direct assault, completely unprovoked and completely unexpected. The aliens were stunned. How have these humans managed to launch an attack against ships far superior in technology? Earth was supposed to be an underdeveloped planet. How could they possibly have the ability to fight back? The aliens quickly retaliated, but the humans didn't stop. With every move the aliens made, the humans adapted. The lasers fired by the human ships were clumsy, but they were unpredictable. The humans used the environment to their advantage, attacking from strange angles, hitting parts of the alien ships that should have been impenetrable. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council's fleet was not in control. The humans had done the unthinkable. They were fighting back. On the Council's flagship, the members watched in disbelief. They had underestimated Earth. They had underestimated humanity. What kind of species is this? The Nexari leader hissed. How can they fight like this? The Zorathian leader, who had been quiet up until this point, stood up slowly. This is a test. They're not just fighting. They are surviving. And they will continue to survive, no matter the odds. The Council was silent. The mystery of Earth had just deepened. This small, unimportant planet had shown them something they had never seen before, a will to survive so strong that it could shake the very foundation of the galaxy. The unexpected first contact. The battle in space raged for hours, with both sides locked in an intense struggle. The humans, though vastly outmatched in terms of technology, refused to back down. Their ships, made from metal scrap and crude materials, danced around the advanced alien vessels, dodging and weaving in ways the aliens couldn't anticipate. The Galactic Council's fleet had never encountered a force so unpredictable, so desperate to survive. On Earth's surface, the news spread quickly. People had no idea where the strange ships came from or why they were attacking, but the instinct to fight back surged through them. Humans, united by the threat of annihilation, rallied together. Governments scrambled to organize defenses. Citizens turned their civilian tech into weapons. Earth wasn't ready for an alien invasion, but it wasn't about to go down without a fight. In the Galactic Council's command center, a cold silence hung in the air. The members were watching the battle unfold in real time, unable to believe what they were seeing. Their fleet had dealt with rebellions, wars, and resistance from more powerful species. But this was something different. Send in reinforcements, the fleet commander ordered, his voice tight. We cannot allow this planet to survive for much longer. But the Council's reinforcements were delayed. More unexpected signals were coming from Earth, disrupting the communication systems across the fleet. Strange interference was blocking their transmissions, preventing them from coordinating an efficient response. What is happening? The Nexari leader demanded. Why is our technology failing? The answer was simple. Humans were resourceful. Despite their lack of advanced technology, they had managed to hack into the alien systems, using their creativity and instinct to disrupt the alien fleet's communications. Earth had proven its ability to adapt faster than the aliens could understand. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the battle was escalating. Cities across the globe had become makeshift war zones as human resistance groups armed themselves with whatever they could find. It wasn't a conventional war. There were no advanced military forces, no high-tech weapons, but it was a fight for survival, and humanity had always thrived in these conditions. In the heart of one of the largest human cities, a young engineer named Alex worked tirelessly in a small underground bunker. With a group of fellow survivors, he was piecing together an ancient communications device they had scavenged. They had no idea how it worked, but they knew one thing. They had to communicate with their global allies if they were going to stand a chance. We've got to stay ahead of them, Alex said, his voice steady despite the chaos outside. If we can disrupt their fleet's power grid one more time, we might be able to turn the tide. His friends nodded, their faces a mix of fear and determination. They didn't have the power to take on the alien fleet directly, but they had something just as powerful, their will to survive. Back in space, the Galactic Council's fleet was in disarray. The reinforcements had arrived, but they were met with more resistance than they could handle. The human ships, though primitive, were too fast and too unpredictable. They had no set patterns, no discernible strategy. The alien forces, used to enemies who followed predictable patterns, were caught off guard by the chaos the humans unleashed. One of the most surprising tactics employed by the humans was their use of desperation. With every attack, the humans threw themselves into the fray with everything they had, their entire focus on survival. The alien ships, built to withstand anything, were beginning to show cracks. The attacks were relentless, and soon, even the highly advanced technology of the Council's fleet started to falter. "What's happening?" the fleet commander said, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Their weapons, they're not supposed to be able to do this." The humans were resourceful, using every scrap of technology they could find and adapting it into tools of war. They had no grand space fleets, no sophisticated weapons of mass destruction. But what they had, what no one had expected, was their drive to survive at any cost. As the humans gained ground, the Galactic Council's leaders began to feel the first stirrings of fear. How could a primitive species like this pose such a threat? What was Earth hiding? In the Council's chambers, the leaders gathered once again, their minds racing. They had underestimated Earth and its people. The planet had sent out a signal that seemed so insignificant at first, yet now it had become the most important factor in the galaxy. "We cannot allow this planet to challenge our authority," the Zorathian leader growled. "We must end this now." But others were beginning to disagree. "The humans are not like the species we've encountered before," said the Lorian leader. "They are survivors, and that is something we do not understand." The council was divided. Some wanted to destroy Earth and put an end to the rebellion. Others argued that the planet should be studied, for it held secrets that could change the future of the galaxy. Could Earth's resilience be the key to something greater? The debate raged on, but one thing was clear. Humanity had captured the attention of the entire galaxy. The battle for Earth was just beginning, and the Galactic Council would never look at this small planet the same way again. The stage was set for a confrontation unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. Earth's unexpected first contact had shaken the foundations of the universe. Now the question was not if humanity would survive, but how the galaxy would change because of them. This part builds on the suspense and mystery surrounding Earth's unexpected resistance, while showcasing humanity's ingenuity and determination. The suspense remains high as the Galactic Council starts to realize they've underestimated Earth and its people, setting the stage for even greater conflicts to come. The first shockwave. The battle in space had reached a new intensity. The Galactic Council's fleet, despite its technological superiority, was struggling to cope with the unpredictable nature of human resistance. Their advanced weaponry, once thought to be unstoppable, now seemed vulnerable against the fierce and relentless spirit of humanity. But just when it seemed the situation might stabilize, Earth's unexpected resilience took another turn. As the Council's ships hovered above Earth, the unthinkable happened. A fleet of small human vessels, barely more than makeshift warships, launched a coordinated attack from Earth's atmosphere. These ships were nothing like the pristine, perfectly engineered crafts of the Galactic Council. They were crude, patched together from scavenged technology and old military vehicles. But their unpredictability made them dangerous. The humans had no formal military structure, no grand strategy, just raw will and desperation. Suddenly, one of the smaller human ships made a daring move. It dove toward a Council warship with an almost suicidal determination. The aliens on board the warship scrambled to adjust their defenses, but the human pilot was faster, smarter. The ship launched a series of surprise attacks, exploiting weak points in the alien ship shields that no one had thought to protect. The shockwave from the explosion rocked the entire fleet. The human ship, though destroyed in the blast, had managed to take down one of the Council's most powerful vessels. The entire fleet was in disarray. "This can't be happening," one of the alien commanders muttered, his voice filled with disbelief. The Council had expected to crush any form of resistance effortlessly, but this was something they had never seen before. A simple, ragtag group of humans had managed to deal a serious blow to their forces. On Earth, the news spread like wildfire. People who had never considered themselves soldiers were now heroes. Governments and militias began to work together as never before. Humanity's resilience, born from centuries of overcoming adversity, was now their greatest weapon. The people of Earth had learned to fight in the face of overwhelming odds, and now they were proving it. In the underground bunkers, a group of survivors led by Alex, the young engineer, was busy setting up their own defense network. They had become a symbol of humanity's ingenuity and resourcefulness. Alex's group wasn't alone. There were countless others across the globe working together to adapt human technology to fight back against the alien invasion. "We can't stop now," Alex said, his face lit by the glow of screens showing live footage of the ongoing battle. "We've got them on the ropes. If we can just keep disrupting their technology, we'll keep the upper hand." His team nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. They didn't have advanced weaponry, but they did have the drive to survive. They knew the aliens were beginning to realize that Earth wasn't the weak, primitive planet they had assumed. The Council's fleet had underestimated the human spirit, and now humanity was showing them what it meant to be truly resilient. Back in the Council's command center, panic was setting in. A handful of small ships had managed to deal a devastating blow to their fleet, and now the Council leaders were scrambling to understand what was happening. The once proud fleet was faltering, and Earth's ability to disrupt their operations was unlike anything they had ever encountered. "How are they doing this?" the Nexuri leader hissed. "Their technology should be no match for ours." "It's not the technology," the Zorathian leader replied, his voice grim. "It's their will. They don't back down. They don't give up. This planet, this species, is unlike anything we've ever seen." The Council members looked at each other, each beginning to realize the truth. The human resistance wasn't just fighting to survive. It was fighting for something more. The humans had the drive to win, even when the odds were impossible. They were not just an enemy to be crushed. They were a challenge to the very idea of control that the Galactic Council had built their power on. "They have found something within themselves," the Lorian leader said softly, "something that we may not understand. This could change everything." For the first time, the Galactic Council began to question whether Earth was just another planet to be dominated. There was a deeper, more dangerous force at play, a force that had been hidden from the galaxy for centuries. As the battle continued, the Galactic fleet was forced to retreat. Earth's defense had become more coordinated, more precise, and for the first time in the history of the Galactic Council, they found themselves on the defensive, facing a planet they had never taken seriously before. The humans, against all odds, had managed to deliver a critical blow to the invading force. But even though they had won a battle, they had not won the war. The Galactic Council would return with greater numbers, better technology, and stronger forces. However, they now knew that defeating Earth would not be as simple as they had once thought. The question that hung in the air, unanswered, was whether the Council could ever truly defeat a species with such an unyielding drive to survive. The answer, still uncertain, could reshape the future of the galaxy itself. In the quiet of the Council's chambers, the realization began to set in. Humanity was not just a small, insignificant planet. Earth had become a new force in the galaxy, one that could not be ignored or easily destroyed. And the Galactic Council now had to prepare for a conflict unlike anything they had ever faced before. The hidden power of humanity. After the shocking loss of several ships, the Galactic Council's fleet withdrew to regroup. Their commanders scrambled to understand what had happened, their minds struggling to comprehend how a small, underdeveloped planet could defy their vast technological superiority. For centuries, the Council had dealt with rebellions and uprisings, but Earth's ability to fight back was unlike anything they had ever seen. It was as if the humans weren't just fighting. They were thriving in chaos, adapting with every passing moment. Back on Earth, the victory was bittersweet. Though humanity had struck a blow against the alien invaders, the battle was far from over. The people of Earth celebrated, but they knew the fight had just begun. Governments, militias, and civilians worked together to fortify their defenses. The planet had come together in a way never before seen, united by the sheer will to survive. In the deepest bunkers of the world, people like Alex and his group of engineers continued their work. They had no illusions of grand victories. Earth was still outmatched. But their success in adapting alien technology to their own was something the Galactic Council never expected. Humanity's ability to reverse engineer and improve upon what they found was beginning to form a pattern. They learned fast, and they learned well. Alex stood in front of a massive control panel, his hands moving quickly across the buttons. "We've cracked their communications network," he said, a note of triumph in his voice. "We can keep disrupting their fleet's operations. If we're lucky, we can even send them back home with their tails between their legs." His team exchanged looks of disbelief. They were just a small group, working with nothing more than scraps of technology. Yet they had done the impossible. They had broken into one of the most advanced networks in the galaxy. Meanwhile, back in the Galactic Council's war rooms, the mood was tense. The invasion had been planned meticulously, but now, with Earth's defenses growing stronger by the day, the Council was facing an enemy it hadn't prepared for. "What are we dealing with here?" the Nexuri leader asked, her voice low and filled with frustration. "We have watched planets rise and fall. Civilizations bow before us. But this planet is different." The Lorian leader, who had been deep in thought, finally spoke up. "They adapt too quickly. It's not just their technology, it's their mindset. We've underestimated them. They're not bound by the rules of the galaxy. They have an unbreakable spirit. They will keep pushing, no matter what we throw at them." The room fell silent as the full weight of the situation settled over them. This was no longer about conquering a primitive planet. It was about understanding a species that refused to give up, no matter the odds. The humans had tapped into something far deeper than technology. They had an inner strength that no fleet could defeat. They are not just fighting to win. They are fighting to survive, the Zorathian leader said, his voice heavy with realization. And in survival, they are dangerous. The Council realized they needed a new strategy. They could not simply destroy Earth's cities or cripple its defenses. This species was too resilient. They had to break humanity's spirit. But as the Council debated their next move, a strange thought began to settle in their minds. What if this resistance was more than just survival? What if the humans were being guided by something greater? An ancient myth began to resurface among the older members of the Council, a story long forgotten, whispered by the elders of several species. It spoke of a hidden power, something that had been buried deep in the history of the galaxy. Some said it was a gift, passed down by the universe itself, while others believed it was the result of some forgotten, ancient experiment. But whatever it was, it had been hidden away for centuries. The humans, the Lorian leader whispered, what if they are more than just survivors? What if they were chosen for something greater? This theory seemed absurd to many, but there was an unease growing within the Galactic Council. If this hidden power existed, it could explain Earth's incredible resilience. Humanity might have tapped into something beyond their comprehension, something that could change the balance of the entire galaxy. On Earth, humanity's greatest weapon was not its makeshift technology or clever strategies. It was their determination. Their relentless drive to survive and protect their world was unstoppable. For every setback, every defeat, they rose again. Every alien vessel destroyed only fueled their will to fight harder. Humanity's leaders knew the stakes. They were up against a galactic force beyond their wildest dreams, yet they had something no alien race could match: their undying will to fight, to adapt, and to never give up. Alex, once just an ordinary engineer, now found himself a part of something greater, a symbol of Earth's defiance. As he stood over the maps and monitors of the Resistance, he saw a glimpse of something he had never fully understood before. The humans weren't just surviving. They were evolving, growing stronger with each challenge they faced. And that power, the ability to adapt and rise above, was their true strength. "We're not just defending our planet," Alex said quietly to his team. "We're proving something. We're showing the galaxy that no matter how small, no matter how weak they think we are, we will always fight. We will always rise." Back in the Galactic Council's chambers, the tension was palpable. The alien species that had once viewed Earth as an insignificant world now found themselves at a crossroads. Could they destroy this planet? Could they crush a species that had the will to rise from any disaster? The Council began to wonder whether Earth's hidden power was truly a fluke or something far more dangerous. The Galactic Council had always maintained control by staying a step ahead. But now, for the first time in their long history, they were faced with an enemy that had no fear, no limits, a species that didn't just want to survive. They wanted to thrive. And as the Council began to question the true nature of Earth's power, one truth became undeniable. Humanity had become a force to be reckoned with, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The truth behind Earth. The Galactic Council's sense of unease grew by the day. Despite their superior technology and strategic advantages, they found themselves in a prolonged stalemate with Earth's forces. Every time they thought they had Earth on the brink of collapse, the humans would fight back with more intensity, more resourcefulness, and more unity. It was as if the planet had tapped into something far beyond technology, a driving force that no one in the galaxy had seen before. The Council needed answers. They had underestimated Earth once, and now they were paying the price. In a rare move, they called for a secret operation to send undercover agents to Earth to investigate. The goal was simple: uncover what made humanity so resilient, and if possible, find a way to break their spirit. The agents, cloaked in the disguise of Earth's own technology, landed in the remote corners of the planet. They were equipped with advanced technology, able to blend in with the environment and remain undetected by the humans. The plan was to study human society from the inside, to learn why they were able to rise up again and again despite their inferiority in every measurable way. Their first observation was startling. The agents watched humans in their natural habitats, working in factories, building cities, and fighting wars. What struck them the most was not their technology or intelligence, but their incredible capacity to endure hardship. The humans were constantly faced with challenges: poverty, war, disease, and natural disasters. But each time, they found a way to survive. There was no single factor that defined them. Rather, it was their sheer will to push forward that kept them going. In the small towns and cities where the agents observed, they saw a pattern. Humans thrived in adversity. They found strength in numbers, unity in the face of danger, and a willingness to sacrifice everything to protect their way of life. It was as if Earth's very survival was woven into the fabric of its people. The agents began to uncover something even more unsettling. Earth's history was filled with stories of survival. From their earliest days, humans had fought against the odds, against nature, other species, and even themselves. They had survived great plagues, devastating wars, and hostile environments. In every case, they found a way to adapt, to learn, and to grow stronger. It wasn't their technology that made them dangerous. It was their ability to learn from failure, to turn every setback into a stepping stone toward progress. As the agents delved deeper into human history, they began to see something else, an ancient myth that seemed to echo throughout Earth's cultures. It was the story of a species, born from struggle, whose will to survive was so strong that it could change the very course of history. The agents couldn't ignore the possibility that this myth wasn't just a story, it was a warning. The humans had always been fighters, and if their survival was anything to go by, they had something deep within them that no one in the galaxy could easily defeat. Back in the Council's command center, the agents sent their findings back. The truth was becoming clearer. Earth's resilience wasn't just a product of chance. It was built into the very psyche of its people. It was a force that had been honed over millennia, through every war, every disaster, every hardship. And that force was now on display for the galaxy to see. The Zorathian leader, who had once been the most vocal advocate for Earth's destruction, now sat in silence, contemplating the findings. "So it is true," he said quietly. "They do not just fight for survival. They fight to become something greater. They are constantly evolving, constantly adapting. This is no ordinary species." The Nexori leader clicked her mandibles in frustration. "We have never faced anything like this. The humans are more than just survivors. They are a force of nature. We cannot destroy them, not without risking everything." The Lorian leader, who had been quiet until now, finally spoke. "If we continue to fight them this way, we will lose more than we bargained for. This is no longer about a single planet. It's about the balance of the entire galaxy. The humans, they are evolving faster than we can understand. Perhaps they are meant to be more than just a footnote in the galaxy's history." The council was at a crossroads. Some members argued that they needed to increase their efforts to crush Earth before it could become a threat. Others, however, began to see the potential in humanity. The humans were not merely an obstacle to be eliminated. They were a species that had the potential to change the entire fabric of the galaxy. Their adaptability, their drive, their relentless pursuit of survival, it was something that could not be ignored. But the truth was still elusive. What was it that made humanity so unique? Was it their biological makeup, their history, or was there something more profound at work? The myth that had surfaced in the agent's reports was troubling, hinting at something far older and more powerful than even the Council could comprehend. In the quiet chambers of the Galactic Council, the members could no longer deny it. Earth had something that no one in the galaxy had ever seen before, a power that came not from advanced technology or ancient artifacts, but from within themselves. The question was no longer about conquering Earth, it was about understanding it. Could humanity be the key to something greater? Or was Earth's resistance just the beginning of a conflict that could change the galaxy forever? The Council was about to learn that sometimes the greatest power lies not in what a species can build, but in what it is willing to fight for. And Earth was willing to fight for its place in the stars. The battle for survival. The Galactic Council's decision was clear. They could no longer afford to underestimate Earth. Every move they made was now met with fierce resistance. The humans were not just surviving. They were fighting back with a ferocity and cunning that was turning the tide of the war. The Council had always assumed that their technology and vast resources would ensure victory, but they had never counted on Earth's most powerful weapon, its people's unbreakable will to survive. In response to the continued defiance of the human race, the Council prepared to send their greatest warriors to Earth, elite soldiers from their most powerful factions. These soldiers had been trained in the most advanced combat techniques, wielding weapons capable of destroying entire cities with a single blow. They were the perfect force for crushing resistance, or so the Council believed. The fleet of warriors arrived in Earth's orbit, their ships gliding silently through space. The humans, now fully aware of the Council's intent, were ready. They knew the true enemy had arrived. Alex, the young engineer who had become a symbol of humanity's resistance, stood in front of a command center. His team was busy making last-minute adjustments to the makeshift weapons they had built. They didn't have the advantage of advanced technology, but they had something that the Council's elite warriors lacked: creativity, unity, and a willingness to sacrifice everything. "We need to hit them where it hurts," Alex said, his voice steady despite the chaos. "The soldiers may have advanced weapons, but they won't expect the kind of fight we can give them. We fight smart, and we fight together." As the fleet of elite warriors descended onto Earth's surface, the Resistance had already set their traps. Using scavenged alien tech, they had built makeshift weapons, laser cannons, EMP disruptors, and drones to take on the invaders. Earth's armies had learned the hard way that brute force wouldn't work. Instead, they used guerrilla tactics, striking fast and then retreating into the shadows, making it impossible for the aliens to predict their next move. The first clash was brutal. The elite soldiers descended upon the major cities, prepared to crush everything in their path. But instead of easy victories, they encountered resistance at every turn. The humans knew their land better than anyone. They used the environment to their advantage, luring the soldiers into traps and ambushing them with surprising precision. Alien ships were brought down with primitive but effective homemade missiles, while drones harassed the invaders, drawing their attention away from the real threats. One by one, the elite soldiers found themselves outmatched, not by technology, but by the humans' unrelenting resolve. They couldn't predict how the humans would fight. Every tactic was new, every attack unexpected. The Council's elite warriors, trained to fight in predictable, ordered battles, began to break under the pressure of the humans' unpredictable and unyielding spirit. Back in the Galactic Council's command center, the mood was growing increasingly tense. The battle on Earth was not going as planned. The elite warriors, who had once been unbeatable, were now being pushed back by the sheer force of humanity's will. The Zorathian leader, who had been so certain of Earth's inevitable defeat, now stared at the reports with growing alarm. "This cannot continue," the Zorathian leader growled. "These humans have no order, no strategy, yet they are outwitting our best soldiers. Their tactics are chaotic but effective. We must crush them now." The Nexori leader, clicking her mandibles in frustration, replied, "It's not just their tactics. It's something deeper. They aren't fighting for glory or honor. They're fighting for survival, for their future. And that makes them unstoppable." The Lorian leader, who had remained relatively quiet throughout the conflict, now spoke. "Perhaps it's time we reconsidered our approach. These humans are not like any species we have encountered before. What if we are wrong in assuming we can simply overpower them?" The thought was unthinkable to some, but the truth was undeniable. The Galactic Council was facing an enemy that refused to yield, an enemy that could not be beaten through force alone. The humans had proved time and again that they were willing to sacrifice everything to defend their planet. And no matter how many soldiers the Council sent, no matter how many weapons they unleashed, the humans would keep fighting, adapting, and surviving. As the battle continued, the tide began to turn in humanity's favor. The resistance grew more organized, more strategic. Earth's survivors were beginning to see the truth. They didn't need to match the alien invaders in terms of technology. They didn't need to have the most powerful weapons. What they needed was unity, ingenuity, and the will to fight back. Alex and his team, working from their underground bunker, had made a breakthrough. They had figured out how to harness the energy from the alien ship's own technology and turn it against them. The next phase of their plan was set into motion. Earth was about to strike a blow the Council could never have predicted. With a new sense of hope, humanity launched a final offensive. The resistance gathered its forces, and the elite soldiers of the Council found themselves facing not just a planet's defense, but a force unlike anything they had ever encountered. Humanity had unlocked the true source of its power, the will to survive, to adapt, and to overcome. In the Galactic Council's war room, the leaders watched as Earth's resistance grew stronger by the day. The reports were clear. Humanity was not just defending its world. They were rewriting the rules of the game. And the Council, for the first time, began to wonder if they had made a fatal mistake by underestimating Earth's true potential. As the battle raged on, the question remained, would the Galactic Council finally accept that humanity was a force to be reckoned with? Or would they continue their campaign to crush a species that had proven its ability to adapt, to fight, and to survive, no matter the cost? The final stage of the war was approaching, and the fate of Earth, and the entire galaxy, was hanging in the balance. A new era begins. The final stages of the battle for Earth were now in full force. Humanity's resistance had grown into an unstoppable juggernaut, and the Galactic Council was facing an enemy it could no longer dismiss. The elite warriors they had sent were no match for Earth's unpredictable tactics and unwavering resolve. The battle was no longer just about defeating Earth. It was about understanding a force that no one in the galaxy had seen before, the indomitable human will to survive and evolve. As the Council watched from their command center, the once proud fleet that had set out to conquer Earth was now in retreat. The humans had turned the tables, using every tool at their disposal, from guerrilla tactics to harnessing alien technology, to fight back. Earth was not just a planet. It was a symbol of resistance, a symbol that no matter how small or primitive a species might seem, it could rise up and change the galaxy forever. Alex stood at the front of the command center, his eyes scanning the monitors. The Resistance had launched their final offensive. The alien fleet was now retreating, their ships damaged and crippled from the relentless attacks. Humanity had done it. They had pushed back the invaders and defended their planet. "We did it," Alex said quietly to his team, his voice filled with both relief and disbelief. "We've proven that nothing is impossible. We've shown the galaxy that Earth is not just a planet to be conquered. It's a force to be reckoned with." His words resonated with the people across the world. In cities, towns, and villages, people who had once felt powerless now stood tall. They had fought for their home, for their families, and for the future of their planet. And against all odds, they had won. Earth had survived, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Back at the Galactic Council's headquarters, the mood was somber. The once unified body of powerful species had become fractured, with leaders debating whether to accept the truth about Earth's newfound strength. They had sent their best warriors, their most advanced technology, and yet Earth had prevailed. The idea that a planet so small, so seemingly insignificant, could defeat them was difficult to accept. For centuries, the Council had prided itself on maintaining order and control in the galaxy, and now, for the first time, they found themselves facing a species that had defied their expectations in every way. The Zorathian leader, who had once been the most vocal advocate for Earth's destruction, sat in silence. His pride had been shattered. "This is not just a loss for us," he said finally, his voice heavy with regret. "This is a loss for the entire galaxy. We cannot continue to ignore Earth. They have proven themselves stronger than we thought. It is time we acknowledge their place in the cosmos." The Nexori leader, who had once urged for the swift elimination of humanity, now nodded in agreement. "We cannot continue to underestimate them. Earth has proven that it is more than just a species of survivors. It is a species that can challenge the very fabric of the galaxy. The question now is whether we should continue to fight them, or find a way to coexist." As the Council members debated their next move, Earth's leaders gathered in their own chambers, discussing what the future would hold. The war was over, but the galaxy had changed forever. Earth was no longer a small, insignificant planet. It had proven that its people could survive against the odds, adapt to the most difficult challenges, and rise to meet even the greatest of threats. Alex, sitting in the command center, reflected on everything that had happened. The war had taken a heavy toll, but it had also brought humanity closer together. "We've shown them that we're not just survivors," Alex said, his voice firm with conviction. "We're here to stay, and no one can take that away from us." Humanity had faced the greatest challenge in its history and emerged victorious. And now, the question was not how Earth could survive. It was how Earth could change the galaxy. In the aftermath of the battle, Earth began to rebuild, but it wasn't just about reconstruction. The war had awakened something in humanity, a realization that they were no longer just a small, isolated planet. They had a role to play in the future of the galaxy. Earth would no longer be content to sit quietly in the background. It had proven its strength, and now it would use that strength to forge new alliances, explore the stars, and take its place in the broader galactic community. Humanity had evolved, not just technologically, but spiritually and culturally. The lessons learned during the war, unity, resilience, and the power of the human spirit, would guide them as they began to explore new worlds and encounter new species. And the Galactic Council, now fully aware of Earth's potential, could no longer dismiss humanity as a mere afterthought. The galaxy had changed, and Earth was now a central force in the cosmos. As Earth's leaders looked to the stars, they realized that the journey had just begun. The war for survival was over, but now they faced the challenge of building a future in a galaxy that would never again look at Earth the same way. Humanity had taken its first steps into a new era, and it was determined to shape that future with the same courage and determination that had carried them through the darkest of times. No longer would they be underestimated. No longer would they be a forgotten planet in the vastness of space. Earth had arrived on the galactic stage, and its story was only just beginning.